So just a couple of days ago, I was sitting down and finishing up a script on a video about the Model Y that I had planned to publish sometime this week. About my recent time with the car, all of the cool observations I've kind of noticed seeing it around town more and more. And a big part of that video was about the Standard Range Model Y. Why, as a Standard Range Plus owner, I was so excited to see that car enter production. I was interested to see what the value of that car could be. And maybe, just maybe, an argument could have been made that I might have been swayed to the Standard Range Model Y from my Standard Range Plus Model 3. Suffice it to say, I was a little disappointed when I saw this tweet drop just a few days ago from Elon Musk that says Tesla now seemingly is no longer planning to produce a Standard Range Model Y. And there have been many different reactions and different comments from both sides of the Tesla community. Some happy about this and some a little unhappy. And this actually opens up the door for a lot of questions and concerns. And what is Tesla going to do? And maybe the thought, just maybe, that this would be the perfect opportunity for Tesla to launch the rumored Standard Range Plus variant of the Model Y. Doesn't that make a whole lot of sense? Well, in this video, let me kind of break down why and why not that might make sense and what Tesla is planning to do for the lowest end Model Y offering. So this kind of came out of nowhere, and it also didn't really come out of nowhere because Tesla had just made a price adjustment to the Model Y, cutting it by $3,000, meaning you can now buy a dual motor long range Model Y for just shy of $50,000, $49,990 to be exact, making this car just a bit more attainable and also closing the gap a little bit more between the Model 3 series and the Model Y. But wait, there's more to this. Remember the long-range rear-wheel drive single-motor variant of the Model Y that Tesla had announced at their event, then they had seemingly killed off and wasn't going to produce, or they were going to produce a very small number of them. It was a very controversial subject. Many people had made reservations for that Model Y that now didn't know what they were going to do. I made a video about it, which I would link to, but it was removed because of some stupid YouTube stuff, which I won't get into in this video. But many will be happy that that car is seemingly coming back. In a follow-up tweet from Elon, or I guess maybe even in the same tweet, I'd have to look at the screenshots. Essentially, Elon says that they are planning to now produce that rear-wheel drive, single-motor, long-range Model Y that should, in theory, be cheaper and become now the lowest cost offering for the Model Y. So it'd be a little bit cheaper to get into the Model Y than going with the dual-motor long-range variant. So now to give some context to pricing, you have the dual motor long range variant at right around $50,000. And if the pricing estimate that Tesla gave us at the Model Y's debut is still somewhat accurate and we do some number crunching, we can expect this single motor variant of this long range Model Y to probably be around $45,000 to $47,000, which is still a pretty good number and again, kind of lowers that barrier to entry. But it is still a far cry from the $40,000 that was promised by the Standard Range Model Y, which would have been an even lower barrier to entry and would have offered more and more people the opportunity to buy a Model Y. So there's a lot to consider here. There is no longer this cheaper variant. Now we have probably a $45,000 Model Y and $50,000 and so on. So people are thinking, could there be a Standard Range Plus Model Y that could be somewhere in the middle? And I previously made a video about the Standard Range Plus Model Y, what I would love it to do, what I would love to see featured in this vehicle. I will leave a link to that video up here. But essentially the idea is that, the $35,000 Model 3, the cheapest one, the off-menu one that you can get, shares a lot of the same DNA with the Standard Range Plus. It was basically a variant created that was a little bit more expensive, but it had autopilot, it had a little bit more range, but it shares the same bones, the same DNA as the Standard Range vehicle. Imagine a Standard Range Plus similar to that with the long range variant. So it really doesn't make sense for Tesla to make a whole brand new SKU of Model Y. Essentially, by cutting the Model Y standard range, they no longer have to make this special SKU. The performance, the long range variants, both of them, all three of those basically share a lot of the same hardware and same DNA, so Tesla doesn't have to manufacture a whole new car. The same could maybe be said for a Standard Range Plus. Imagine you had the single motor long range variant. So you had the same battery capacity, you had the same single motor, you had the same interior, but in typical Tesla fashion, things are maybe scaled back a bit to save on money. Maybe you wouldn't have the premium sound system, or at least you wouldn't have it fully unlocked. You could maybe pay a little bit more to get that fully unlocked. The hardware is there, but it was maybe scaled back a little bit to save money. Tesla could software limit the charging speed and the battery capacity, so you still had a very good amount of range, more than usable, but it was a little bit restricted. And again, unless you were willing to pay more. Maybe some same things like the Model 3, some interior lights were missing. Maybe you didn't have some other features. Tesla could essentially sell this same SKU, this single motor long range Model Y, take a couple of components away through software, leave the same hardware, manufacture the same car, but take away some components through software, and now sell this Standard Range Plus Model Y for maybe a bit of a discount. Let's say the single motor long range is 45, 46. Maybe this car is 42, 43. It's not perfect, but it is a lot closer to the, again, more attainable $40,000 price tag of the Standard Range Model Y without having to be the exact Standard Range Model Y. You're getting a little bit more in terms of hardware and capacity. You're paying a little bit more for it up front. And a win-win for Tesla. Not only are they getting a new Model Y customer, but they can make some money in the back end if that person was to pay to purchase add-ons through the app, whether that be rear heated seats, or whether that's to unlock more range, or the sound system. Manufacture the same SKU of vehicle, just software limits and things, and call it the Standard Range Plus. It's a win-win for everybody, and you get an even cheaper Model Y. So that's my case for the Standard Range Model Y. I don't know if this is ever going to happen. I don't think Tesla is even rumored to do this, though I do think it makes a whole lot of sense. It was a weird thing to add this variant to the Model 3, but as someone who bought one and is very happy with it, I am an advocate for the Standard Range Plus. I think it's a great value proposition. It's a great buy, and I know many of you guys feel the same way as well if you watch this channel. I think everyone would agree it is a great option to have. More options never hurt, though I don't think Tesla would do this, but we will see if there is in some way a cheaper Model Y than $45,000, $46,000, but it's going to be interesting to see. I think that right now, if you're looking to buy a Model Y, you have many things to consider. There are no safe bets, so to speak, unless you're going to buy the dual motor long range. I'd still be really curious to see what the lower end is going to be. And then remember, the Cybertruck is also supposedly still on the horizon. So there is a lot to consider if you're buying a Tesla, but it is an exciting time. Can't wait to see what Tesla is working on in the future, and as Model Y production continues to ramp up. I'm bummed the Standard Range is gone, but I'd love to see what could replace it, whether that's the single motor long range or maybe, just maybe, a Standard Range Plus variant. So what do you guys think? Does the Standard Range Plus Model Y make sense? Do you think it would be great for Tesla to offer a car with the same hardware that was just maybe missing some things through software? I know this is a big debate we've talked about with the Model 3, that if you could just pay to upgrade things through the app, though it's not ideal, it is a lot better than not having the option at all. So let me just know what you guys think about that. Leave a comment down below and let me know. As always, I appreciate the comments, the subscription, subscribe to the channel, like this video if you have not already. I sincerely appreciate it. I am Robert Rosenfeld. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.